So there's a homeowner that I come across fairly regularly. A seller here in Palmer Ranch listed their home for $799. Now they did everything they thought was right, and their listing eventually expired. And when I finally sat down with them, the first thing she said to me was, "I don't know what happened." Well, here's what happened. Now they put the property on the market, and every few weeks the agent would call them, not with a showing update or not with market data, with a request that we need to drop the price. No explanation of where the buyers are actually shopping, and no conversation about what it would actually take to make sure their home was compelling enough for people who are actually actively looking in the marketplace. Just, we need to bring the price down. So she did. She reduced the price. Still nothing. Reduced it again. Still nothing. By the time the listing expired, she'd given back $35,000 off original asking price, and she still didn't have an offer on the property. So here's what I needed her to understand. Those reductions she was making on the property wasn't because they were too small. They were wrong because they were chasing a problem that had already happened before a single buyer ever saw their home. Now, before I show you what I mean by that, I want to be clear about something. The market did not fail her. 775 single-family homes closed in Sarasota County in February. That's over $500 million in total volume. The median home went under contract in 54 days. So buyers, they are here, they are active, and they are transacting. So the problem wasn't the market either. And it wasn't entirely the price, at least not the way the agent presented it to her. The problem was something that happened before any buyer ever had a chance to even consider their home. And it started the day that they agreed upon that price of $799. So I asked her one question. Did your agent ever show you where the buyers are actually choosing to write offers? Not where sellers are listing, but where buyers are feeling confident enough to act on property. She hadn't, so I showed it to her. Her home was listed at $799, a number her agent agreed to, because for the agent, winning the listing mattered more than pricing the property right. But the February data shows us where homes are going under contract in this market, they are transacting about 12% below where the average active listing hits on the market. That's a price point where buyers are feeling empowered to act, roughly around that $705 price point, not the $799. That is a $94,000 gap that wasn't lost in negotiation. It was gone before a single buyer ever had a chance to schedule a showing. Their home was being filtered out at the search level. Buyers weren't rejecting it. They weren't even finding the home. Then there's the second number. Once the home enters the buyer's window and goes under contract, buyers in this market are closing at roughly 95% of their contract price. That's another $25,000 from the $705, landing at approximately $680,000. So full picture, listed at $799 and closing at $680,000. That's $119,000, and 94 of it, the largest piece by far, happened before any buyer ever picked up the phone to request a showing of their property. The price reductions she made were chasing a problem that started the day they agreed upon that $799 price point. So my conversation with her wasn't, we need to lower the price. It was, we need to position your home so that buyers feel compelled and confident enough to act on it. Those are very different problems with very different solutions. Now, an agent who lists a property at a seller's aspirational number because it wins the listing and then continues to call them week after week asking for reductions without ever explaining why the home isn't selling, they really only have one tool, and it's reactive. It's giving up money in pieces without ever solving the problem that's underneath. The right question isn't, what price is the seller willing to accept? It's, what does it take to make this home the one that buyers are actually choosing? Price is part of the answer. Preparation, presentation, and marketing really are the rest of it. And in a market we have over 4,200 homes, single-family homes, competing in the Sarasota County area for just over 1,000 buyers, the homes that sell are the ones that are positioned to earn buyers' confidence, not just the ones that eventually end up in the buyer window. Now, I was direct with her about something else too, because she deserved a straight answer, not an industry talking point. We're currently sitting over 5 months of inventory. Now, typically, my threshold for a buyer's market is just over that 4-month period. But the industry kind of says that a 5 months is a balanced market. I don't agree with that. Buyers, they have options and they have leverage in this market, and they know it. Now, our values have corrected meaningfully year over year. And I don't see a clear path for appreciation, probably over the next 12 to 18 months. In fact, we might even see some further softening in the market. And in this environment, positioning matters more, not less. Buyers, they have leverage, and a home that is not strategically placed does not get negotiated to a price. It gets passed over entirely. That's the market she was navigating, and that's the market that you're navigating too. Now, none of this is what held her back the first time. What held her back was positioning, and positioning is the one variable in this market that you actually have control over. She made a decision to approach the market differently, not just to price it differently, but to position it properly, to join the 775 homes that actually went to the closing table in the Sarasota area last month. Palmer Ranch, Lakewood Ranch, Siesta Key, Venice, Nokomis, the Barrier Islands. If any of this feels familiar to you, or if you've watched the listing go quiet, and you're trying to understand you're just trying to understand where your home actually stands in today's market before you decide about moving forward, I've got a free valuation tool that I'm going to drop in the description below. It's going to show you where buyers are actually paying for homes that are similar to yours into market today. But understand, this is really just a starting point. I want to be honest with you. A number alone doesn't tell you where you need to be positioned strategically. It doesn't tell you which side of the $119,000 gap you're likely to land on, or what it actually takes to make sure that your home is one of the ones that buyers actually choose. That clarity comes from a conversation, and I'm going to drop a link to my calendar below. Look, let's spend 20 minutes, no pressure, just to help you to get a clearer picture of where your home would actually stand and what your options might actually look for, what they might actually look like in today's market. Now, that homeowner that I talked about at the start of the video, she's under contract. The market didn't change. The strategy did.